Folks, we are live. Welcome to Talking Crit with your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, Bad Michael Battalato, my once a week
It's
work.
me.
Mike, you got a haircut, by the way.
Oh yeah, I got really I did my pre-con haircut, goatee cut, mustache cut, ear haircut. I mean they do everything, eyebrow cut.
Oh, damn.
I even so
I,
I'm old enough now and I'm rich enough that I even splurge and I get the hot thing on your face and
look
they
at
wash your hair, they massage your head,
did
then
you get to shave?
oh yeah they do all that. I you know what? It's only an extra. I don't know how much many dollars, but it's worth it at this point. I'm like, screw it, I'm just gonna do it. You know.
Nice.
And then, I know. So I get the whole 9 yards. I feel like a new man after my haircuts now.
I,
And
I
then I
need
feel,
I need a haircut.
oh God, look at you. Yeah, you're gonna get your haircut before North Texas. I am not appearing with you in North Texas like
Oh, or maybe I'll have it cut at North Texas. Just like,
that. Oh,
hey,
any barbers want to volunteer? We will financialize anything.
yes.
If you want a barber,
Give Tenkar the haircut you want to give him. Tenkar and a mohawk. All right, Laramie
how
would
about
love
give
that.
Tenkar the toilet he needs? That would be good. So.
All right, so for those that maybe have only watch the live streams and you missed this,
Tenkar's
um,
toilet.
Paul, welcome by the way. Yeah, so apparently they have added a channel at the TSR Discord server because every Discord server needs more dead channels.
I can't. And by the way, I can't. I still can't get in there. So they must have figured me out, and blocked me. Darn it!
I have to make up like some others have done an alt of an alt of an alt.
Mm.
So, but in any case, they added a channel called Tenkar's Toilet, so you can take a shit on Tenkar.
I'm forever guilty, or not guilty. I'm forever jealous that those morons thought of Tenkar's toilet before I did, because the jokes just keep coming. I mean, the jokes just roll from that. I mean, come on. Hello, Kurt. Hello, Courtney. Oh, yes. That's all my favorite people tonight so far.
Yeah, go figure. But yes, so listen, I half in jest, but really, if they reached out to me and said, how much would it take for us to license the use of Tenkar's toilet, I would probably come to an agreement. Why? Because it is so fucking stupid. I mean, and listen, I understand the alliteration, but if you did Tenkar's out, Tenkar's privy, Tenkar's privy.
Tenkar's toilet.
Tenkar's toilet. I'm 13.
Honestly, I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here. That may be the most creative thing that group has ever thought up. I'm absolutely 100% serious, because we've seen this episode of Tenkar's Tavern could just be or Talking Crit could just be a gigantic what the F of what we've seen of Star Frontiers New Genesis right now, which at this point there's no use kicking. It's like kicking a turd down the street. Eventually the turd just disintegrates and you're just kicking little pieces of the turd. And what's the point? The turd is disintegrated where
it gets all over your shoes, Mike. That's the issue right now. So
you're not doing it good, but yeah, Tenkar's toilet was funnier than any of the unintentional humor of the what came out about the new supposed new Genesis game, which I'm still not 100% sure is actually ever going to come out, because this stuff's horrific. It's really bad.
Now apparently alarms. I hope I'm getting the right title for Dave Johnson's
Alarms and Journeys,
as opposed to Alarms and Excursions,
which was
real.
Yeah. So it's kind of
but this is the riff. So he put like a 14, 15 page article in his latest issue that came out. So I didn't realize this, but somebody else told me it was available on. I guess if you have if you have a Prime account and you have like that unlimited Kindle, it could be one of the 10 titles.
Ooh.
Otherwise, you have to spend $10 for it. So somebody actually did that and then shared it on Facebook, parts of it. And I went to. I actually have Kindle Unlimited. I don't use it as often as I should. I don't know if I get my money's out of it, but I have it. And I went to grab it, and it wasn't available in Kindle format because apparently Dave didn't like the mocking he was getting on his poorly edited article, which, by the way,
Mm.
they are literally, if you watch, uh, was it Tom Sapram?
Mhm.
My Tom, the Star Frontiers guy, it hits his second channel. God damn it! But he was talking about earlier today where they are literally taking the original IP from Star Frontiers and like what was it the Vrosk are now like they're referred to as a nickname and they've been genetically altered to a new nickname. So the past no longer is there, but they are cribbing off the past.
Mhm.
Oh God, it's like, can we actually steal IP? No, but you can shit on it, and that's really what's going on. Uh, you've been needing a live stream. Well, we're happy to oblige. We have no special guests this week, and that's partly
Mm.
because Mike and I have literally had that kind of a week. Now, it's been a good but busy week for me, and I think for Mike, it's hopefully overall been a good but busy week for you.
It's been okay, but I've had some issues this week, and it's
Yes,
a lot of
John.
just leading up to con stuff that you got to get last minute crap done. And but I had something already I share with Eric already, but this is how my week's gone. So I've been since COVID, I've been getting my groceries delivered to my car because I'm old, fat, rich, and lazy. And so I just call it. I call it. Just an app. You go in the app and you say what you want, and then they charge you for it, and they bring it out to your car, and then you park in the spot, and they give it to you, and you say thanks. You drive home, you get all your groceries. You don't have to walk around the store and look at stuff that you don't want to look at. And so today I went and it's been rather hot in Texas. It's been in the 90s. It's gonna be in the 90s all week. God knows what it's gonna be like by the time of the con. It might be
Curse
up there.
you, curse
It's,
you, Saul.
it's already gonna be in the 90s. So I threw it in the back of the car and I drove to the warehouse to get some work done. And I'm working in the warehouse. And this is about noon. I picked the groceries up. About 3:30. I remember I have groceries in the back of the car, which includes bologna and ravioli and cheese, and it all went in the trash can, guys, because I just don't like to take chances. I know odds are I probably would have been absolutely fine, but I am real weird about that. Um, so yeah, I mean, I have had food poisoning a lot more than most people. So I think I have a very picky innards. So yeah,
But
so
you kind
$50
of
for the
know,
groceries
yeah, you can
in the
avoid,
trasher. Yeah,
yeah,
why take the chance? So I had to throw everything away. So I was left with a $3 can of soup and a bottle of Diet Coke, and that was it. Everything. Oh, I had some vitamins. Everything else, nope. This is all perishable. Pimento cheese, bologna. Oh, yeah.
and
So
I've done that, Mike, and not just that. I mean, I've done the. I went shopping. It was a couple of years ago. I went shopping at BJ's, which is one of the wholesale company retailers like Costco, and I bought these like two folding chairs and another, and the folding chairs, which were like I don't know $20 a piece, were underneath my cart, on that shelf. I go, I unload everything. I
no
drive home, and I'm like,
folding chair.
did I ever put those chairs in? Gone. I was back 15 minutes
Uh,
later. Gone. Did not exist.
I did that with Sam. I bought. They had a big sale at Sam, and this is how traumatic this was. This is probably about 15 years ago. Big sale at salmon at my local butcher's seafood store. Bought a ton of salmon, and I did exactly what you did, Eric. I left it in the shopping cart. And by the time I realized it was about 3 hours later, and it was in Texas, and it was in the summer. I said, "Nah, I'm not going to go get. I'm not
No,
going back for that one. I am not going to have salmon that's been sitting in the sun for." Now, maybe they saved it. I don't know. They could have. Maybe somebody found it, and brought it inside, but at
I
that point,
doubt it.
I don't know how long it would have been out there. It still might have been out there an hour. I don't know. I mean, nobody would have known. So
Right.
I'm not taking a chance with food poisoning with salmon or fish. So that's kind of. And then I had one of those days I was just telling Eric, like I was here all day and I worked all day long, and I'm just sitting there going, what did I really do? I mean, So my latest project is I've been getting stuff ready for the midnight auction, the silent auction, and the live auction. So I've been going through stuff, and I'll show you some. I'll show some of the stuff I've been pulling. I'm pulling some good stuff. Um, but so you work all day long and you're writing up auction sheets, this and that, and you're making lists, and then you look and like, okay, I got a couple of plastic containers that are full. Like, I guess I worked today, but so I'm going to show some fun stuff since I'm sitting here and Kurt Gould's here. Kurt looks like this. This is probably going to go to the live auction. We have 2 or 3 copies left. We don't have a lot left. There's Jeff Easley's signature on the bottom. This is a Jeff Easley cover. Can you spot what is wrong with this, Eric?
Oh, and I think I gave you one of those copies, not one that was signed though. Yeah, it's Advanced Dungeons and Dragons TSR 1.
Whoops.
Whoopsie. This was self-published. Yes.
It was by the Burntwire Brothers, by Diecast, and they came out with it, and they immediately got a C&D from Watsy that said you can't use trade dress. That is
trade dress.
Yeah.
It was trademarks. It was,
and they put TSR on it, and they put Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. You can't do any of that. So they only published, I want to say, 100 copies. They pulled the rest of them. We've been donating some over the years. And then also Doug bought the last of their stock out because I think they had about 10 copies left when the C&D came. And actually, the stories I've heard about Watsy's C&Ds they're actually pretty nice unless you're an absolute dickhead like Lanas and them, because they pretty much told them just sell what you have and don't. Then that's it. We don't want to see it ever again. And the same thing happened when we did something in our con. We reprinted a copy of Ghost Tower Inverness, the tournament version, and we didn't even get a C&D. We just got a phone call that said, "Hey, we heard what y'all did. Just don't do it again." Okay. Do you have any more? No, they're all sold. Okay. Well, just don't ever do that again. So we didn't even get
in the room.
Hey, there's Gary. Gary's been working his ass off too. We have been both working our ass off, Gary and I. Gary especially though. I'm not going to knock what Gary does by any means. He's
John Miller. Did Rolaids ever get into any trouble with their AD&D compatible products in the 80s and 90s?
They did. There's a story behind that. Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much. I don't remember how the ruling went in the end, but I think that the legal action itself pretty much killed.
They kind of ran into the same problem that Judges Guild did, because Judges Guild had a license to publish D&D and AD&D, and then abruptly TSR pulled it while they still had all this product that says AD&D on it. What happened was they just weren't allowed to sell it for a certain amount of years, and then you couldn't find Judges Guild stuff on the shelves for years and years, and then early 90s I guess it was I don't know how long did those kind of injunctions last, but they were able to finally start selling that stuff again. I believe the same thing happened with Rolaids. I believe they had to pull most of their stuff off the market. If you remember, about the mid 90s or so, all this Rolaids stuff suddenly just poured into the market. Just like you could find it like people were selling. So I guess whatever warehouse they had all in, whatever injunction they had.
That's when I picked up for dirt cheap. What's it? The Devils and Demons books from
Rolaids? Those are good. Those are nice boxes.
Oh, those were
good, great artwork too.
Yeah, no, those were great. That was a high watermark. But yeah, listen, we're talking about CDs. Hey, we'll talk about a cease and desist letter that's kind of timely. Somebody that we have been already talking about, Dave Johnson, got a C&D from Hasbro.
Uh-oh.
He got a C&D from Hasbro because he was going to include in his next issue of Alarms and Excursions.
Alarms and Journeys.
Alarms and A&J.
Yeah.
He was going to include whatever they call it for Hero Quest, an adventure for Hero Quest, and he got the letter from the same lawyer that gave TSR their letter, basically telling him you can't do this. So the same individual who has tried going through Facebook groups saying you can't talk about my game and you can't talk about me without my permission was upset that a big company came down on him and wouldn't let him make money off their IP. So now Dave Johnson, in addition to designing Star Frontiers and writing soft porn espionage novel, is writing a new game.
Badly writing it.
He's
So
writing a new.
if you
He's
want
writing a new
more,
game.
go to Literotica or go anywhere, virtually anywhere on the internet, because his stuff's terrible.
So Dave's new game is called Quest, and it's going to be compatible, I guess, with another game.
We're not recommending this, by the way. We're just reporting on it.
Is this just listen? Apparently, when you're served with the C&D, what you do is you go, okay, let me just scrape off just one little part of this, and I'll just rename it. So whatever works. And Mike, how many C&Ds have you been served with?
I've been served with 0, but I'm not a dick, so I would not use material that is. Here's the thing, like I said with WotC, you can push the envelope. You just can't step over you just can't kick the door in. And I mean, I'll give you a really good case, and also, this is not unknown for sometimes companies to push the line about what they consider C&D just to see if you'll back down, right? They'll say that they won't really issue a C&D, but they'll say, hey, we don't think you should be putting that up, and you could just say go jump in the lake, and they just disappear because they don't really have
like rights. That was pretty much
Osric exactly. They went to Osric and said, we don't think that you can do this, and Matt Finch said, yeah, I think I can, and then they just never heard from them again. So that was an attempt to shut them down that didn't work. But yeah, for the most part, unless you're just a flaming a-hole, you're probably not going to get a C&D. Sometimes I think our buddy Lloyd got one time for something that he knew he was kind of pushing the line on, and I can't remember the circumstance. I just remember this happened. And I know a few people that may have gotten C&Ds over, but it's always a case where either it was done inadvertently, oh, I didn't mean to do that, sorry, or yeah, I know I'm pushing the line, I'm going to try it anyway. Oops, I got caught. And then, oops, I did it again. And then they just, you just take it down, or they tell you not to sell anymore, or because they have to defend it. They have to defend the right to do that. If they just let you publish stuff.
Right. If you don't defend your property, you lose your property.
If they told the Burtwire brothers they'd never said a thing about this, they might have had a TSR 2, 3, and 4 of this, and with Advanced Dungeons and Dragons across the cover. And then by that time, they decide to bring them to court. They're going to say, well, how come you let them publish TSR 1, TSR 2, and TSR 3? Then why are you saying something's wrong with TSR 4? Because they've already sold, 18,000 copies. So that's why you have to protect your copyrights and your trademarks, because and people I get copyrights and trademarks mixed up all the time too. But you have to do your due diligence. You have to protect them. Otherwise, I'll give you. There's a lot of real life cases. One of the cases, Marion Zimmer Bradley wrote a series of novels taking place in the world of, I don't remember. It's her big fantasy world. I can't remember where it was. And so Dark Moon. It's kind of a sci-fi fantasy.
Oh, okay.
It's a fantasy world, but it turns out the roots are really sci-fi, and I can't remember. And she wrote in this world for years and years. Well, she also, this is back in the 70s, 80s, and 80s, she let fans write in the same world. So they would publish these, back in the fanzine era where you had alarms and excursions, stuff like that.
Right.
They had these fanzines based on her world of Dark Hole. God dang it. I'm going to have to look it up. Marion Zimmer Bradley, what's her world called? Anyway, vamp for me, brother.
I'll banter. Marion
Darkover. Darkover. It was Darkover. So her world of Darkover. And so anyway, they put out some of these fanzines, and they had these Darkover conventions. It was real big in the 70s and 80s. Now, Postscript, she's not well regarded in the community now, because it turned out her kids, when they got older, came out and said they were abused by her and her husband. And I mean really badly abused. It's bad stuff. I can't even repeat it. But because she had allowed this fan work to be published, and it, actually under her approval, she said, oh, this is great. You're writing stories based on my world. Later on, when they tried to assert trademark, these were Exhibits A. Like, you let them publish this stuff. So she actually lost control of certain parts of her world, because she had allowed fan writers to write in that world. She'd never said anything bad about it. As a matter of fact, they were able to prove that she approved of it. and she actually lost certain characters. She lost certain parts of her world she couldn't write about, and her world also had certain time periods. She lost certain time periods she couldn't write about anymore. It was wild, and
Really?
that's why you can't that you have to crack down. Sometimes you look like a bad guy, look like an a hole, but you got to crack down this stuff. And that's why all these assertions that Watsy's a big bully are just stupid. Watsy's just doing what they have to do.
Right. And I mean, listen, the open game license, there is a lot of great aspects to it. I've written under it. I've used it. I understand why people like Kevin Crawford do not write under it.
Mhm.
Makes a lot of sense, right? I mean, they control their IP totally, and you can play one of Kevin's games and feel at home in any other old school D&D D20 game, and it's like 97% compatible, but it's different. And he's not under the open game license.
Right.
People make that as a conscious choice. Now, John Miller said before, Matt Finch is some kind of corporate lawyer, though, right? Certainly a lawyer. I'm not sure if it was corporate, but he's not been practicing in a
He's
while.
a he hasn't practiced a long time, but yes, once a lawyer, always a lawyer. But he was well aware of how far he could go and what lines not to cross. And we had man on the show not too long ago. We actually didn't talk about that too much because he talks about it quite a bit in other shows. We wanted to
Yep.
cover other things, but yes, he was well aware of how far he could go, and he didn't want to go past there, and he didn't. And that's why we have OGL, or we had the OGL. That's why we have OSR today. It's because Matt
Right.
Finch and we're
I mean,
and
there's a reason. There's a reason why when the fourth edition came out, Wizards of the Coast went with the game system license.
mhm.
The GSL was much more limited, and you had to pay like I don't know, it was 1,000 or 5,000 to get licensed. Basically, they didn't want any Tom, Dick, or Harry writing for 4E. They wanted what they considered quality, but
Right.
by doing that, they got nothing.
It backfired horribly on him.
Okay,
Yes.
because what the open game license does, and not we're going to ignore the old D20 system license. Just think about the OGL, the open game license. It allows support from material that you as a company you don't have to do, and others are supporting your work, and it keeps your system alive. It keeps your core products selling. It is
Yep.
an amazing thing. But Matt's the one that saw, hey, we can use this to uh, make a simulacrum of
But yeah,
an
basically
old school
rewrite
system.
rewrite the player's handbook. Yeah, that's what it
Yeah,
was. We're rewrite the player's handbook, and that's why if you read Osric, there's certain differences. Like, why did they just do a complete exact change? Well, that would have got them in trouble. They
right,
changed just enough to where it wasn't an exact duplicate. You can't do an exact duplicate of anything,
right. And
and so they changed up enough that it wasn't.
one of the things that was not technically opened under the OGL was experience point charts,
Mhm.
right? So
Yes.
your experience point charts they're mathematical. There is a system that you have to if you're doing the mathematics the same as somebody else's system that is not open, well then you got a problem. And if the charts aren't open content, well, this what's the secret? You just do your own
By the
charts.
way, if you look at Labyrinth Lord, their experience points are completely different. Also, that's one of the things I noticed. First thing I noticed to pick up Labyrinth Lord is that
Mhm.
they do not exactly follow BX or BCMI experience point charts. So,
So
which is easy enough to do. It's easy. It's really easy to change that. Very easy to change it.
So that's one of the things. Like I know when I started writing some initial content just on the blog side, I had a friend of mine reach out to me, Jason Paul McCartan, and he was much more knowledgeable on contracts than I was, and explained to me how the OGL worked, how to be in compliance with it, especially even on a blog. You think you're doing content in a blog? I don't need to worry about this stuff. Well, you know what? If you want to be in compliance, you need to worry about it. I've got to say, I am proud of all the years I've been blogging and everything I've covered and everything I've written, all the content I've done. I've never got a C&D. I've never been served with any legal action. I've had somebody rattle the gates once in a while, but you got to know, you have to know what the legal lines are, where you stand within it. Um, I never thought of myself as a person that likes to necessarily go beyond that line. I never really have. So it keeps things in perspective.
Sure. And like I said, you can walk right up to that line, and a lot of times, look, these companies have lawyers on call, so they have a law firm that works for them. But man, they still got to pay billable hours, and if they see me or Eric doing something and it's kind of right around the area, but not, that sometimes they let that alone because they just don't want to. It's just not worth their time. Now, if a bigger one of the reasons they're going after new TSR is because it's so egregious, it's so
Right.
over the top, so egregious that they have to, you just got to step on the roach and squash it because it's bothering you so much, But a lot of times they don't even bother with stuff like that because it's so. That's why I laugh sometimes when I see somebody do something that's questionable and then somebody's like, "Oh my God, Watsy's going to sue you." I go, "Watsy doesn't know who you are," and they probably won't unless unless you're just over the top and,
right.
and you're making a living out of it. If you start publishing hundreds of books that have something, some IP on it, but yeah, once or twice they're probably not going to even notice.
And as long as you're not making outward statements about your crossing over the line, when you draw attention to yourself by outwardly saying stuff that an IP or copyright holder is going, or a trademark holder going to look at and go, wait a second. Someone, this individual, what we don't even give a fuck about, is claiming what? They claim they own our work? How the fuck? And again, it doesn't matter whether you're big or small at that point. They have to protect their property. So whether you are some schmuck that's decided that, oh hey, I'm gonna do my own hill.
Is that your C&D? You getting a C&D right now?
Yeah, I'm probably getting a C&D. I got somebody, Lillian, let me talk to. By the way, I have a robocall blocker.
Oh God, I do too. I still get them all the time.
So somebody named Lillian wants to talk to Eric, and I don't know anybody named Lillian, and it's a call coming from Manhattan. And they can leave a message. I will call them back.
You listen to the message later. I've done this before. It's in a different language. I guarantee you. The message is always like, "What?" Okay, I guess I didn't need to get that.
Before COVID, and it's probably because my neighborhood is very Asian, so I guess certain exchanges are getting there were a lot of phone calls that if you got them translated, and I did a little research and got it translated, it was this is the FBI. Your son was arrested. We need you to call this number. To bail him out.
Scam. So they're not after you and me, Eric.
No, not at all.
People who can't speak English, who don't know any better, and they're trying to steal money from.
Yeah.
Of course.
I thought it was gonna be my son after I told him I'm doing a live stream. You know what? Here, since I forgot to, I'm gonna put that to vibrate, and they can call all they want. Apparently, they really didn't want to talk to me because they haven't left the message, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But yes, Old School Essentials is all. And now, listen, what is that key word? Almost an exact copy of BX.
It pretty much is. Yeah, it's just laid out better. It's bullet pointed stuff, but yeah, I've read through I got the PDF the other day, just to see because I kept hearing about it. I knew what it was, but I wanted to see it, and I was like. So there's different part. There's classic and then there's advanced. Advanced is obviously more D&D, AD&D, but classic is just BX. It's all really. I mean, there's very very few changes except that the rules have actually been clarified. There's some things in there, and the author actually goes over that in a full page sheet about what he changed, what he clarified, because some of the stuff, back in the old days, they didn't exactly explain everything the best way, and so you had to guess. Well, he wanted to take some of the guesswork out of there so he could clarify stuff, but it's pretty much exactly BX. But the BX, as much as I love the BX rulebook, it's not put together very well in terms of where stuff is. You're flipping through it all the time, back, forth, up, down. OSC's advantages, it's very well organized. Very well organized.
I actually got a message left and a bit nervous about the message of who I thought it was. So I'm going to put this on mute, and it's a 31-second message. So Mike, you're in charge.
Okay. All right. Well, let me. I'm going to show you some other interesting things we're going to have in the if you're coming to North Texas or if you're not. So I had not heard of these. Speaking of OSE, have you heard of Meatlandia? Meatlandia was a Kickstarter um, using the OSE rules, and it's kind of like Lamentations meets OSE. It's basically what it is. So these were donated, and so these will be on the silent auction. Very well put together. Remind me a lot of Lamentations. There, the nice printing and stuff, but layout, it's not the best layout. It's all right, but yeah, this is probably gonna be because I looked through it and I couldn't use it. I'm like, I'm not really interested in adventuring something called Meatlandia where they have things called
Meatlandia?
worm witches and
Oh, wait a
other
second.
words.
It sounds. Oh, by the way, I know two people with the same name. One is the wife of my friend who's under home hospice,
Oh,
and I realized and I went, I hope that's not. And the other one is a bartender, and it happens to be the bartender inviting Rachel and I to.
oh, okay. So no problem. Okay, good, good.
Yeah, no, I didn't want people in the back going, "Oh
I
my
was,
God, is Eric going to be running off the screen just leaving Mike by himself?"
I was just showing
Oh,
Meatlandia,
wait a second. Wait a
which
second.
is a setting for OSE, and
Right.
it's Lamentations meets OSE. So I was donated that. It was from a Kickstarter. Like I said, the books are real well put together, hardcover, black and silver ink and stuff. And it's just weird. It's weird shit. It's weird shit. So that's something else. And so I
Well,
mean,
hey, I got something from Frog God or
I
Necro.
got wait, hold on. Yeah, I got that this week too. Is that the werewolf one?
Yeah, Pete Spons. I have yet to read it.
Yes, I got it too, and I kind of like their new format. They have so Eric, they have digest size stuff that you can read, which is amazing. I
Well,
wish Swords and
you
Wizardry
know,
box set had been that, but yeah, it's they've got some really good. The last two things I've got from Frog Guide have been digest size, and they're really well put together, and they're readable. They're absolutely readable. They're great.
so
Very 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 happy about those.
since we're talking about digest size, I'm gonna sneak something out in here, and I don't normally promote stuff that is happening from my Puquito publishing company, but this summer, and I'm going to tell you right out, remind folks right from the start, I am not running it, but this summer, Continual Light will be coming out during Zine Quest. It will be kickstarted. Um, I know, I know.
Ah,
I'm not. I'm Jeff will be taking care of this. Jeff Jones did the layout. The layout looks amazing. Um, James Shields did the cover. The cover is amazing. But I happened to snag something that was initially going to be stretch goals, but now might just be an add-on. I got another James Spawn. He was going to do a micro setting and some small adventures, and maybe we're going to do a stretch goal. James is taking this ball and running with it so much. It's including a mini setting that he likes, new god or gods, and he asked me this might
wow.
he goes this might be more than one zine. This might be a zine just for the setting and another zine for the adventures. So we have Spawn doing some amazing work. I just found this out earlier this week. So yeah, there's that.
Well, hold on. So what you're saying is Continual Light will be out this summer,
We'll be out this summer.
but Spawn's got so much kick-ass stuff that he might have a whole nother.
Well, it was going to be I thought we would do digital stretch goals because that's me being the individual who doesn't want to, you know. But I'm not a project manager. Apparently, Jeff is a bit of a project manager, and he thought that we could probably do another 32-page zine as an add-on as long as we price things right from the start. Not an add-on, as part of a stretch goal. Hit a certain number, and we could do that. But if James blows us out of the table with off the table with content, we might need to do a bit more than that. And James' stuff is good, so that means that when you back Continual Light this summer, you could back a whole system, setting, adventures. You could be ready to up and play and have damn near limitless time with you. So that's what we're looking forward to.
I'm
Well,
interested in knowing what Pete Spawn's settings like. Man, I might want to write something for the
Pete,
setting. That sounds really cool.
well, James Spawn's setting
Oh, James. I'm sorry, James. I get the Spawn
Actually, no,
brothers.
Pete has his own
By the
setting.
way, not brothers. I get the Spawn brothers mixed up.
No, they're distantly related though. They have you go back like 4 or 5 generations. There's a
Somewhere back
interconnection.
there. Yeah.
But yeah, no. When James has a bit fleshed out, I'll let him know. I mean, it's gonna, as we get information from James, I think he's given me some samples already of what he's been writing, and it is magical. So I am excited, and I'd love to, have more content for it, and
So, let's talk about continual light. So, what's going to be in continual light? I mean, what I know. So, before we had something called Torchlight, which was
and
geared
Torchlight's still
towards.
coming out.
Yeah,
Torchlight's still.
also Torchlight's going to be different than continual light. Oh, because continual light is actually
Continual Light is the rebranding of Swords and Wizardry. Continual Light,
right.
with Swords and Wizardry no longer being a Frog God
Right.
IP. And I get along great with Matt, not a problem there. But I think at this point, because Swords and Wizardry has experience points, Continual Light does not. We've changed enough of it that I don't. It's maybe not accurate enough to use that as part of the branding. So we're going to go with just Continual Light for the branding. So, but if you already have Swords of Wizardry Continual Light, the 8.5 by 11, content is not changing much. Some things are going to be better phrased. The layout will not just be serviceable, which, by the way, was the big thing, right? Like, it was serviceable. Yes, Tenkar did serviceable layout. I know my layout sucks. Okay, it's not my specialty, but Jeff has done an amazing job laying this out. It looks really good, and I am thrilled with it. And the only thing that Jeff and I disagreed with, but I think I won in the end, is I wanted everybody, what I consider to be the 4 main players behind the property. You remember how comic books in like the 90s, on the bottom you'd have everybody, the writer, the artist, and block letters on the bottom, Byrne, Jones. So this, I was like, listen, this wouldn't have ever been in existence without Zach Laser, James Bond, who wrote Continual Light with me, and in the end really wrote it because he and I is the game designer. I just threw out some ideas. Jeff is the reason why this is even coming out. So I was like, these are the names I want in the bottom. And Jeff was like, no, it's your project. I'm like, no, it's not mine. It wouldn't exist without all these people.
You're the wrangler. You wrangled all these.
I wrangled, but I mean, these are the people. The reason why this exists. If Zach Glazer hadn't listened to me pitch my idea of a 1-sheet OGL D&D game, and went, "That's a good idea. I'll get back to you," and then came back to me with, "Hey, if you could take Swords of Wizardry and knock it down to 4 pages, could you do it?" I went, "It's like the Jackie Gleason moment." Humana. So
yeah, sure. How much are you going to pay me? No, it was a library.
No, I was. Listen, I needed a project in my retirement. When I retired, I was like, you need that focus. It's like, I just can't sit around and play video games and watch combat on YouTube. By the way, great series you can find on YouTube. The whole series of combat in black and white is up on YouTube. You can watch it. I did for like months, and then I realized I really need.
What am I doing? What am I doing?
Yeah, binge watching on YouTube cannot be your whole retirement. So, Matt Melman, how do you get stuff from Frog God, Mike? Aren't you literally sitting in their warehouse?
That's old stuff. I still buy the new stuff. There's various reasons for that, but I will tell you one of the reasons is the stuff that we publish on Indiegogo and Kickstarter now. It's we're not printing thousands of copies anymore. We're printing to order, and anything after that will be POD. So I've had cases where I didn't jump on the ball, and there's no more copies left, and I can't even have a copy because there wasn't one put aside for me, and I didn't grab one. So I've been grabbing some of the stuff coming out. I also like to see how it's shipped because I like to give Zach or Bill a hard time if I don't think it's shipped well. And so I find being on the list that ships it, I get to see how they ship it and Actually, lately it's been really good. I mean, getting the really solid, the hard envelopes, like these, and yeah, it's been the shipping's really gotten really good. So, but
Well,
yeah,
Mike, now I'm going to ask you a question about shipping, only because I got sticker shock today because I've been trying to get rid of stuff that I no longer have any plan to use, and I've
right.
realized that I will never ever, in this lifetime
Oh
or
yeah,
the next,
sure.
go back to painting miniatures. It's just
Mhm.
not going to happen. And I backed numbers of Bones Kickstarters in
Oh
the
yeah.
weekend.
Oh, both the same story, different verse. Yeah,
Okay.
lots of bones, no time to paint the bones. Yep.
Yep. So I know Bones one I opened and I got to figure out where those pieces are. I might have given them to Shannon, my niece, but I found two Kickstarters from Bones that I never even opened up.
Oh
So
wow.
I know Shadow and his son, they paint miniatures. They even have a YouTube channel for it. So I told Shadow I'll ship you the miniatures. I'm not looking to get paid for it. If you cover shipping, that's fine. And I'm thinking, I'm still the mindset. I remember when priority mail, you put in you ship priority, it was one price, didn't matter if the box weighs under 20 pounds. I'm shipping plastic miniatures. One
Mhm.
one box, yay big with two smaller boxes in it. Shipping priority was like, I don't know, $26.
Yeah.
What the hell happened with shipping?
So here's the deal with shipping. So for years and years and years, shipping wasn't really the post office wasn't really required to pay for itself, and shipping was artificially low for decades. I mean, the fact that you're able to ship a letter for just a few cents and priority packages were $2 or $3. It wasn't paying for itself. And so every year the postal service, even though ostensibly it's its own thing, because that's what people tell you, like, oh, we're not really part of the government. The government, except they get all their financing from the government, they're not really part of the government. Anyway,
Right.
a few years ago, it was decided the post office they also had this really sweet pension system for all the postal
Mhm.
employees. Very sweet pension system,
And
and so
underfinanced, wasn't it?
underfunded, but not no, it wasn't terrible, but it was underfunded. So all these other companies, like the steel industry is one of them. They had so many underfunded pensions that a lot of these steel companies just went out of business and nobody got their pension. They were absolutely just these people that worked in a steel factory for 30, 40 years. They were maybe about 75 years old, and all of a sudden they're not getting any more checks because the steel company went out of business. And the U.S. government, seeing this, said, we're kind of worried. I mean, the Postal Service has employed thousands of people over the decades. What if they were to something happened and they weren't able to fund their pensions? So they required, at a certain point, the Postal
100% funding.
Service to start funding their pensions. And this has been a subject of great debate and battle over the last decade or two about why is the Postal Service the only government agency that has to absolutely guarantee to fund his pension and other ones don't. Getting past all that, the reason you're paying a lot for is for years and years the Postal Service could not go up on their prices every year except for a certain small percentage, and even that they had to go through Congress to
Right.
basically say, hey, can we raise the price of first class letters 3 cents? And so they had to present that to them every year. Every year they had to present this. A few years ago, they were given the power unilaterally. They were able to raise their own rates, and I think they're able to do it at least twice, if not three times a year. So they they just went hog wild. They said sure, and so postal rates have been going up from anywhere from 2 to 3 times each year, which it's almost impossible to keep up with.
Right.
And there's been some weird side effects. One of the side effects was you can't ship overseas anymore. Overseas
Oh,
shipping it was way cheap. I mean, it was very cheap for years. Um, about 97, 98. I think about half my business was overseas. The last time I checked, about 1% is because the reason is a flat rate priority envelope to Europe is 55 is I'm sorry, $35.
jeez.
Um, and it used to be like 7 or 8 or something like that.
Right.
A flat rate priority package to England is $75. And that's just they're just actually right now they're charging what they always should have been charging because they're trying to make the money back. And the problem is when they put in these increases, they don't usually increase first class letters because that's what usually everybody gets mad when the first class postage goes up. What they do is they slip it in on priority packages, which is their big, huge moneymaker. Well, that's where they get you because you're shipping a package. If it's over £1, it's either media mail, which is a book or CD or something like that, or it's not. And if it's not, guess what? It can't go media mail. If it doesn't go media mail, you have to ship parcel service, which I would never recommend. Parcel service is terrible, or priority mail, and priority mail is very, very expensive now. But yeah, that's the reason it's gone up so much the last few years is because the Postal Service is able to unilaterally institute its own raises, and I mean it's gone way up. A priority package now, I believe, is over $8. A priority envelope is over $8. Right. When I first started doing this, it was $3.
Oh, you know, yeah.
I mean, and it was great. The greatest deal ever. You could just shove that priority envelope full of stuff, put some stiffeners in there, and mail it off. It was like $3. Well, now it's like $8. So for me to ship, if I ship something like on eBay, I have to charge about $8.50 because I think with the discount that eBay gets, it's still $7.70 to ship one of those packages. But yeah, it is very expensive to ship packages. I had to ship. I had a big box of some Dwarven Forge stuff, which is not media mail, so I could not ship media mail. $47 to ship one box of Dwarven Forge and a couple other little pieces. Because if I put media mail on there and they open it, now here's another thing: you can ship stuff media mail, but it better be media mail. If they happen to open, which they do, they open package sometimes. If it's not media mail, they charge you the full priority price for that, and they charge it back to you. So you got to be real careful about that.
Oh, it's all books plus a pencil. Well, you just screw up with that pencil.
Oh yeah. Don't throw dice in there with your D&D books because then it's not media mail. Matter of fact, I had a package open the other day. I had a bunch of books in a big box, and I put a whole bunch of peanuts in there. And I guess they felt it. They thought it felt like books, but they opened it. They put a little note in the guy's package. He got it and said, "Hey, just let you know that they opened the package, but it looks like everything's inside." And there's a little note there that says, "Hey, we have the ability or the right to check for media mail, blah blah blah." And we opened it. Everything was fine. We shut it back up. But yeah, a lot of people that don't go to the post office very much or don't ship a lot, they're absolutely shocked when they go there nowadays and see how much post become.
I'm like, I should have gone to Staples and used UPS. Maybe you got now. It's like you got a price compare between UPS and FedEx. You know, like, what the.
So, K5K asks, why is the rate of shipping so important to publishers? The publishers rate of shipping. This is the problem, because giant corporations like Amazon, they can absorb the cost of that. They're not paying real shipping. As a matter of fact, if you over $50, you get free shipping. They're not having. It doesn't impact them at all. It impacts me because I'm not a big giant corporation. So when every package I ship, I'm charged $8, and so because of this, I have to charge $8.50. Amazon doesn't have to do that because Amazon they're doing so much volume that it's not important to them.
Well, here's the thing too: the Postal Service. And this was true through at least 2020. So I'm assuming it's still true. The last article I read is that the Postal Service ships packages for Amazon at a loss. So the money they take from Amazon doesn't cover the actual cost it does to ship.
It's weird, yeah.
And also remember, Amazon, they have their own delivery company. Like if I order from Amazon, I'm getting something, depending on what it is, from either FedEx, UPS, Postal Service, Amazon Direct, and there's there's a fifth company that does delivery for them in New York City. So you can get it from one of 5 different places, whichever is cheaper, wherever it's coming from. And also Amazon, you have to remember, has warehouses everywhere. So
yes,
if your product, is in multiple warehouses, they're going to get it from a warehouse that's closest to you and is the cheapest to ship.
Mm-hmm. When you order off Amazon, it's not coming from Seattle. It's coming from the warehouse down the street from my house, which is fast. It's easier for them to ship there. And don't forget, for a long time, Amazon was not paying in-state taxes. This is a very recent development. Amazon was using the dodge that, we're actually based in Seattle, so we're only going to pay taxes in Seattle. We have a warehouse in Texas, and matter of fact, we have a warehouse in every state in the United States, but we're not going to pay taxes in those states because we're really not based there. That came to an end a few years ago. They said no, 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 no.
That
So
doesn't work.
these larger corporations enjoy far more benefits than smaller shippers do, and that's why people usually tell you to support your local game store,
Right.
because these
The
guys don't
margins are
have the
different.
advantages. They don't have
Yeah.
the advantages of Amazon.
By the way, Gary says that Zeb Cook has his airline tickets now, and it's
Yep.
confirmed for North Texas. He's submitting submitting games this week.
He
By the
actually
way,
already, I thought he already submitted them, but if
well,
he's going to submit more, I'm okay with that. He can submit
but
as many as he
here's
wants.
the thing. I actually had two people approach me online, and they're like, "Listen, I want to go to North Texas, but I saw all these games. There's nothing available." And I was like, "Listen, games will keep on popping up as people submit them.
Mm-hmm.
Check daily. That's the one
Yep.
thing. Two, you're going to get there, and they're going to be games that are open because people didn't make the con.
Yes.
It's going to be a board. You can, and I'm signed up. I am thrilled, by the way, that there are oh God, what do you call it? Not games, but God, I want to say surveys. I'm turning old, man. Seminars. Seminars.
Yes,
There are
we
seminars.
actually get, yeah, we actually have quite a few seminars this year, or
I'm signed up
talks
to
or
every
whatever.
single one because this to me is where I increase my knowledge. Gaming is fun. Don't get me wrong, but I go to conventions to socialize and increase my knowledge about all the aspects of the hobby and gaming. And so if I play in one or two games during my I don't know 4.5 days, I'll be cutting there Wednesday afternoon, leaving Monday morning. Um, if I play in two games, that's awesome. But I will not be bored. I will not be sitting around with nothing to do. I've never had that problem. Even last year, I wasn't working the table for Frog God, but I was helping Mike out, and I was talking with so many damn people. I was always like, wow, oh shit, we gotta get ready for a live stream. Oh my god, I gotta, it was that kind of a pace. So
Yep.
you'll trust me, your schedule will be as full as you need it to be.
Right. Right. And yeah, we had a few people that just weird to me. They said, "Oh, you know what? You don't have any. I don't see any open games for this or that. So I don't think I'm gonna come to your con. Can I get my money back?" And I'm thinking, that's wrong attitude, man. That's a terrible attitude because it just doesn't make any sense. Because there's, first of all, like you said, there's people that don't come to your con. Always
Right.
people don't come to the con, and so there's spaces that open up. Um, there's people running games, home or just running games. Like, hey, I have a table, I'm going to run a game. We've already talked to a lot of people that are there that want to run, games of a new system they're debuting, and we have
Right.
that happen a lot. So there's always going to be stuff going on. There's always stuff to do. Very rarely have we had somebody show up and said, I just couldn't find a game to get in because they're all full. I mean, that I'm not going to say it hasn't happened because that actually has happened,
Oh
but
yeah.
that's not what the way it usually is. It usually
And
does not happen.
here's the thing too. At least when I've run games at conventions, if you see me in the hallway and it's like, "Hey, Tenkar, I know you're running a game in like an hour. Are there any openings?" I'm like, "Oh, the table is booked, but I don't sit down. Take my
Mhm.
chair. I can easily add an extra player or two as long as I can get chaired at the table.
Yeah.
I don't. Many DMs don't turn people away, and some of us are very experienced at running with larger groups, depending on the system
Mhm.
we're running. So just
Oh yeah.
it doesn't hurt to ask if you're interested. What's the worst that somebody can say? No, and you're no worse off. If they say yes, then you're in a much better spot. That's just how I
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah. That's weird to me. Like I said, that's weird. And North Texas, and the thing is, we get kind of take advantage of. North Texas has a policy that if you buy admission, we'll roll it over to the next year if you can't show up. Um, we normally never issued refunds, and Gary can tell you this. I mean, that's one thing, Doug. We just didn't do it. Um, we have done it somewhat this year. I don't know. See what Gary's. We'll ask Gary, but I think we're going to go back to we're just going to roll you over because it's a pain in the ass. I mean, most conventions don't give you refunds. Gamehole Con does not give you refunds. Gary Con does not give you refunds.
Right.
If you're lucky, they'll roll over. And so that's one thing we've always been really good about rolling over tickets. So we may just start doing that again because it's become a pain in the ass. because what you get, here's what you get, which is annoying too. You get somebody, they sign up for your con, they're like, oh, I don't see any first edition games. I need my money back. Okay, here's your money back. 3 weeks later, oh, hey, you got some new games up. I'm going to register again. You son of a bitch. By the way, Gary does not allow that. For what he told me, if you want your money back, you got your money back, and we'll see you next year.
Right.
Or you can walk up. We're not going to let you buy tickets again because that's just a pain in the ass.
Yeah, Gary's saying that we're going to let you roll over for 1 year and then it's forfeit after that. And that's
we used to have a very, very good, very open policy where you could roll over as many years as possible. But that, honestly, I don't want to keep track of it anymore. Gary doesn't want to keep track of it. We're going to start just saying 1 year because that's more than a lot of cons already do. It really is.
Yeah.
So we'll start doing rollover. But yeah, we have if we've actually had some people that are really nice. We had our buddy Robin Irwin this year can't come. He wants us to give his ticket away to somebody, which is that's super nice. That's great. Gary said, no, if you get a refund, you're banned this year. And that's absolutely true. We're not going to deal with you buying a ticket, getting your money back, buying a ticket, getting your money. We're not going to go through that roller coaster.
I don't blame you.
You can't come. You can't come. And
it's not going to change.
No. But you got to, there's so many things to do at cons, besides just the vendor room. There's always stuff going on. There's special guests there to talk to. And if you were just to come to a con and you didn't have one game planned or anything, I guarantee you could find even a smaller con than North Texas. I guarantee you could fill up, a whole day easily. Oh, yeah. Just by talking to special guests, talking to people there, going to lunch with people, just doing all that kind of stuff.
I will be going with a copy or two of Swords of Wizardry Light, copy of Continual Light, and probably one of Inkwell Design's adventure decks. So if you find me, we're all hanging out, and there's like 3 or 4 of us, we got nothing to do for 2 or 3 hours, find an empty table, I will have an adventure ready to go in 10, 15 minutes as you guys get your characters created. That's what I'm going to tell you. I'm signed up for no games, but man, I am signed up for seminars. Bob G wants to ask, well, should I bring a couple of bottles of Dragonfire mead from Connecticut? Holy shit. That is
do what you gotta do, bro. Yep.
But I don't know how you get that through TSA. I had a civilian employee when I was in the NYPD, my police administrative aide, who smuggled back for me when she went to Cuba. She smuggled back Cuban beer for me in her carry-on luggage. I didn't ask her how that worked. I didn't, but God bless her for bringing me Cuban beer. By the way, it tasted like water. That's one. Their cigars might be great, but their beer was not. Yeah, I you know what? I may make the sacrifice when I am out in Texas. Why
didn't Castro want people to get drunk? He should have. That would have helped his rule. Get people drunk.
Because if you don't know any better, I guess it tasted good.
If you're drunk as hell,
I knew better. Oh, Gary keeps a list. What are you, Santa Claus?
Yeah, the naughty. He keeps the naughty list. That's exactly.
I'm making a list. I'm checking it twice. You're gonna be banned for I don't know. Has to be a check bag. She didn't do check bags, but I don't know. It was weird, but it was Cuba, so who the hell knows? Listen. She also brought me into a police facility, a bottle of homemade coquito, and I had to explain to her, you do realize we're in a police facility, and just by bringing this in, you could be suspended, and by giving it to me, I could be suspended. She's like,
it's like moonshine. It's the same thing as bootleg moonshine. Yeah.
She's like, exactly, what? Mm-hmm. But it's coquito. Everybody loves coquito. It's like it has nothing to do with liking it. It has to do with no alcohol on the premises. But neither here nor there. Hard case inside checked baggage. It could be. That could be also came from Cuba and they weren't even looking. Who's going to blow up a plane leaving Cuba, right? Come on.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Very
true. Gary brought rum back from Key West that way. I'm learning some true stuff about Gary. Interesting.
Yeah, it's rough.
I always thought Gary was one of those like straight-nosed individuals, and
no, he's all voice. No. Yeah,
you're showing us different, but at least the statute of limitations probably passed.
Used to be able to bring booze across from Mexico when it was cheap. It's not. By the way, it's not cheap anymore in Mexico. You used to be able to buy it there, and you get a great deal. You bring it across. It's believe it, the last. It's not cheap in Mexico anymore. So you're not really
Really?
saving any money. No, you're not really. You pay taxes. It used to be you bought the booze, you brought it across, fine. Now when you go through, you have to declare your booze, and they charge taxes. Like, what's the point? I mean, so yeah, that's a raw deal now. Now medicine's still cheap as hell. You can still get medicine across the border, but yeah, booze is not the great deal. Now, the one thing that's cool about the booze in Mexico is you can get a lot of brands you don't get in the United States. My
Okay.
uncle's favorite brand of tequila, and it's some off brand, God knows what. He gets that in Mexico. They don't sell in the United States. So
Gary says that you will testify that he has his moments. Okay.
mm,
Mike, does Gary have his
he's
moments?
got something going on. Yes.
All right, all right. Just verifying, just checking. I don't need. Listen, I'm of those like don't ask, don't tell. So don't need to know what those moments are. But Gary, if you want to tell me over like drinks at the bar at 2 a.m.,
Mm-hmm.
that's fine. I'll buy.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Rachel's buying all the drinks this year. So Rachel's buying, Gary. She'll be buying
Ooh.
around.
Oh, I like to hear that.
Yeah,
That's
she
nice.
doesn't hear because she's got her headphones on. But
No,
Uh,
I hear it's ignoring it.
oh, there she is.
oh, she hears, but she's ignoring it. Thank you, Rach.
I don't know. I've been off alcohol for a week.
Oh yeah,
What?
yeah, we'll be talking about this when we do Gamers Health on
Oh
Saturday.
dear.
But Rach has been trying to eat healthy, which means drink healthy. And since you can't go to our local pub without getting either rounds bought for you or buybacks, she just drinks diet soda because nobody's going to buy her a diet soda. They look, look, oh, good, it's Eric and Rachel. What are you drinking? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm having my Merlot. Rachel Diet Coke. Yeah, just buy Eric a Merlot. She doesn't get it. It's like I'm not gonna bow down to a Diet Coke and buy that. So yeah, it's fine. But no, she's been doing good. I'm Rach
Mm.
eating better makes me eat better because make I used to make of the meals that were made in the house. I used to make like 99%. Now I'm making about 70%. And Rach is making meals now too, which is exciting me because hey, I like to get pampered once in a while.
I burned 834 calories.
Rach burned
Okay.
834 calories today because we took like an hour and 15-minute walk with the dog, and then she just did her
Holy crap.
TRX. Let me see. She did about a little bit over an hour of actually like physical muscular workout as opposed to just walking. So yeah, she's again. We'll have a lot to talk about on Gamers House. It's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
be
yeah.
I was meaning to turn into your Gamer's Health this week because you had special guests and I missed it.
We had special guest Tom and his wife
Yes.
Tammy. And
Oh,
that was
they were such a pleasure. All right, let me get out of here.
they were yeah. After that, but no, they were great to have on, and
I missed it. I
they,
missed it. I missed it.
they got to learn too that the secret of the tavern's live streams is minimal preparation and
Yes. Very much so.
no list of questions. I told Tom and Tammy I got listed. We're going to pretty much no questions to pre-written to ask. We got some general questions we'll certainly throw out, but I can guarantee you that our live audience is going to be interesting enough that we won't have to ask.
Oh yeah.
We did. We went off on tangents. So, oh wait.
Oh well, we never go off on tangents here, so yeah, that's weird. That's crazy.
Oh yes, right. Friday Night BattleTech. See,
Oh, drunken battle tech.
yes, BattleTech is. I bought BattleTech back when it was Battle Droids before they got their C&D from Lucas for
Mhm.
using droids in their marketing. And the original Battle Droid wasn't printed on cardboard; it was printed on glossy paper, and you had to glue it onto cardboard. So I was using, I think it was cereal boxes to make my stand-up figures. I also learned that it's not easy to play Battle Droids or BattleTech in the backyard on a picnic table because your pieces get blown all over the place.
That's honestly, gaming outside period is usually terrible. I'm sorry, it just is because especially in Texas is a windy state, and I remember every time we tried to play on the back porch, everything everywhere. It didn't matter if it was summer, spring, fall, winter, whatever. Gaming outside's just always been a pain in the ass for me. Like I said, it might be just a Texas thing, but it's not easy to do in Texas.
You know, we could play RPGs in the backyard on a good day with a pitcher or two of homemade iced tea that your mother made for you, and that was great. But the moment like you tried to play, was it Mines of Moria? It was one of the ice board game that was set in Lord of the Rings, I guess, The Hobbit.
Mm-hmm.
Those
Oh yeah,
little chits and the paper board, a little wind, and you were like,
and there you go. Like, oh no, yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
but listen, when I was a kid, there was no AC in the house. All right, so if it was summertime gaming and it was good enough weather, you were outside, and if it was bad enough weather, the day was going to be cooler, so you could probably game inside without too much trouble. But yeah, we didn't had AC in the living room, only one room, and believe me, we didn't have access to
Wow.
that room. My parents had that room. We had the dining room where you would roast, and my mother made dinner in the kitchen. So
Well, I lived in Texas, so there was gaming outside that was usually a non-starter anyway. But when you tried to, it usually just never worked out. So
yeah. Well, Gary, Doug and I played Battle War in his backyard one year to watch the kids swim and they were on. All right, I'm assuming the kids weren't on the 6-foot plastic tables. The that would have been funny. Put the kids on the table. We're gonna go swimming. Yeah, the kids. All right.
weird.
God help.
So but the point is, take a shot at conventions. Not just our convention, but if you look at a convention and you don't see a lot there, then think about renting a game yourself. Think about bringing your own game. We actually, one thing that's kind of overlooked in North Texas, we have a board game library. It's not very big. It's got a few things in it. But some of these conventions you go to, man, they have gigantic board game libraries. And if you can't find something to play in a gigantic board game library, then really you shouldn't even be gaming then.
Oh God, yeah.
Giant board game libraries.
I mean, some of the best gaming that we did was when you didn't have we can't make a quorum. We don't have the full group. So what are we going to play? Oh, there's 4 of us. All right, we played Chaos Marauders, that fast-paced game workshop that we always laughed our asses off. Or Nuclear War, Nuclear Assault, from Flying Buffalo. These were the games that you brought out because when you had your full group of 5 or 6, most board games didn't really play fast enough, right? But when you had 3 or 4, you could pull out a board game and it could play out, and you could just humor it up. Those are the low stress days where we actually brought out the alcohol. But otherwise, I had the no alcohol rule at the table because my players were a fucking herd of uncontrollable cats. Alcohol just made it worse.
I always, nowadays we can drink with booze at the table, but man, we had to have a rule about that back in the day too. Like, we eventually ended up with no booze because it got out of control. And the thing was, people would drink and then fuck their characters up, and then next week they wonder why all their magic items are gone. Like, well, because you played last week and you fucked it up.
Right.
Why did you let me do that? I didn't let you do anything. You're drunk. You did stupid things.
Right. We were all drunk. It's not my responsibility to keep your
not my problem.
Out of trouble.
That's
I'm keeping my drunken ass out of trouble.
Yeah.
So,
That's a YP. Yes.
Yeah, we tried it once. I think we all had a 6-pack, and it quickly devolved into cursing and complaining about somebody's ex-girlfriend, which almost turned into a fist fight. Because you say things that
nothing important got done. Yes,
yeah, it had nothing to do with the game. It just came. I've been lubricated, and therefore I'm going to tell you what I really think. It's like, oh, jeez.
Yeah, we had the same issue.
Yeah, you see, so that's the reason why we made I made the rule, but it was my house and I was GMing, so they had to follow it. But now, I mean, I've got no problem. If you want to pull out bottle and get a little liquored up at a game. Just don't get to the point where you can't be a little bit focused. It's already hard enough to focus some people at the table. But if you're gonna get liquored up to the point where your head's on a swivel and you're just looking at everything else, might have had too much. But I haven't seen too many people drinking in North Texas. Well, I shouldn't say that.
What?
I've seen some people. No, I'm not talking about BattleTech, and I'm not talking about certain DCC games I've been in. But because those always seem to include alcohol. But it's DCC. Yeah, it plays better with alcohol. I don't know what that means. But it certainly does. But I think I've seen alcohol at tables at GaryCon, but then again, there's a bar on the convention site that is totally crowded and busy at all times. So I think the atmosphere is a little bit,
right,
different.
Oh, it is definitely.
Game hall. The only insobriety I've seen has been at the hotel recreation room when they have their happy hour, and that's always been a very happy hour.
Unless you're Stephen Porhorn and you're playing heavy metal music on your.
But that's why they put him in the office area, the glass office. He was put in there like he was on display at some zoo, and it's like, oh, look at the Porcorni animal behind the glass. It's so
by the way, we heard from Stefan this week. He's still coming and still wanting to run games, so he's all excited. So. Yeah, we got Stefan coming. He's got a great setup. I don't know if his games are all full. They might all be. I don't know, but he runs an awesome game with all his kick-ass Dwarven Forge stuff. He turns the lights off and he has lights all over the table. And it's crazy. So,
hello everybody.
And then since he has his own private room to run his games in, we don't have to worry about his giant, ghetto blaster down in the kitchen area. No. He just goes. He's in this little private office room or executive room, and he just cranks it up there. And if you're nearby, if you're sleeping underneath or above him or beside him, you're just screwed. But otherwise, you just hang out.
That's when you go to the front desk and go, "Do you know who I am?" And they'll go, "No fucking clue." And my wife will go, "This is Eric Tenkar," and they'll still go,
"This is Eric Tenkar," and we're not sleeping now.
Yeah,
we actually they're pretty good. They make sure that. So there's I think it's the 7th floor or whatever. They kind of say that's the North Texas floor, and they'll stick you there. And so basically, if you're on the North Texas floor, you just kind of ask for it. You're going to get it. You ask for it, you're going to get it.
So in other words, if I get there and they give me like, "You're in room 705," I'm going to go. Fuck.
And if you see Stefan pop out the door, go, "Oh, Eric!" Then you're like, "Oh shit, I'm not going to sleep."
Come into my come. Let's have some Ozzy.
And you got Black Sabbath is behind, but you're playing, and you're like, "Oh my god, I'm not going to get any sleep in my."
I still remember my first TotalCon, and Stefan comes in, and I guess he was with his girlfriend at the time, or I forget who he was with, but he actually got an Uber from Brooklyn.
I heard that. That is classic. Classic.
And he, from my understanding, and I don't want to cause any troubles with the Uber field of Ubering, but when he told the guy where he wanted to go, the guy was like, so Stefan goes, "I'll give you cash. Turn off the app. I give you cash if you take." And then the guy was like, "Oh, well, I guess if I'm doing it for whatever the money was, I don't want to quote him the price." You know what? I got to say, if I was a random driver on the streets of New York at the time, I probably would have been like, "So let me get this straight. I can make hundreds of dollars driving you to Massachusetts and then leaving, even at the cost of gas. That's actually not a bad deal for 8 hours."
Not at all. Not at all.
It's a lot of driving, but hey,
do it. Yes. No, I think that guy probably did really well. I'm sure.
Yes. Although I'm sure with today's gas prices, he probably been like, All right, for that plus pay my gas
Yeah,
fee.
for that, yeah, you're gonna have to pay some gas fees here, bro.
Oh, jeez, I drove by gas stations today and I was seeing gas at like $5.59 and I was like, oh my god.
Oh dear, yeah, I went up in
This,
Texas too, but yeah,
yeah,
it's
and it was like,
not that bad. Yeah, but yeah, it's bad.
and this is with New York State, with saying we're going to suspend whatever portion of our state tax. They did this like a month ago to bring the price down like 15-20 cents.
Uh,
So it would almost be $6 otherwise. So yeah,
Jeez. Even then, it's still that expensive, huh?
yeah, and you know what?
Wow.
And here's the thing. I don't work. I'm retired, so I don't have to worry about my daily commute. When I worked, yes, I'm in New York City. I drove to work because my location where I was assigned to was not easy to get to via mass transit, and the borough of Queens is not necessarily a great borough for mass transit unless you want to ride buses
Right.
for half your day. But it would definitely increase my costs. My budget would suffer if I was, you know, putting gas in my car, every 4 days as opposed to
Right.
every 2 weeks. So, we have boardrooms on 9 to 14,
Hmm?
and they tend to put attendees on 8 to 11. So
Right.
Gary just
Okay.
corrected.
So probably not 7 then. It must
So
be
if
8.
you could be on. Well, so all right. So as long as we put like a corner on the 14th floor, and then leave the 13th floor and the rest of the 14th floor empty, we're probably
You're
good to
fine.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
you're
fine.
okay.
Never an issue. I listen. I love Stefan. He is, um, honestly, a good-hearted, very unique individual. That sure he plays his heavy metal music, and maybe I'm getting old to appreciate it, but I can still blast it once in a while just to annoy my son when my son's in the car because he doesn't. So I can put on that channel
But
next.
Stefan, you know what? Tell you what.
What?
Stefan is a great ambassador to the hobby. He's the
Oh
guy,
God, yeah.
exactly the kind of guy that gets so excited about playing D&D and still, doing this kind of stuff that he gets you excited just because he's excited, right?
He's passionate. Everything he
Yes.
does, he's passionate about, and that's something that you don't see in everybody, and especially not all the time. So you can feed off Stefan's energy. You can. It really, it's contagious. So having him at the con is awesome. Is there a floor 13? I believe there is. I don't believe it skips 13.
Uh-oh. I thought they started doing those now again where they don't really care about it anymore.
Yeah, I think there's a third. I tell you the truth, I never pay attention. I just know what floor I'm on. Every other floor just doesn't exist. It's like the only vision I have is the floor I'm on. So
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I don't know, Mike. Short of talking about new TSR, which could be like saying Candyman 3 times. I don't. Well, I mean, listen. What I do find interesting is at least Justin publicly now makes his threats of legal action. Well, just wait to 10 carp. By the way, 10 crap would be a lot funnier than 10 carp. 10 crab, I'm crabby. I pick on you. Whatever. Fine. 10 carp makes no
I don't get
sense.
it. That you carp on stuff? You're carping all the time?
I don't
Is
know.
that it?
Or if you were to say 10 carp, spell it with a K, and just kind of play with
You
it.
own so much space in his head that you need to start renting it out and get some
I
extra
I,
cash.
I can make listen. I can make some
Seriously.
money off it.
Jeez.
But he's like 10 carp's gonna. Won't be smiling when he gets his lawyer letter. Okay,
What?
I'll get my
There-
lawyer letter. But
no lawyers work. Yeah, there's no lawyer letters coming. There's just like there's no Store Frontiers ever coming from what our
yeah.
insurance
I mean,
sources tell us.
I
It's
personally,
not gonna
I
happen.
think the odds are more likely that I will get a lawyer letter than we'll actually see Starfleet.
Which
I mean,
neither are
that's
going to happen. So yeah, you're
no,
probably right.
I know. But if I had to go like, which odds are you going to take? Well, I got 50-1 on this, and I got 1,000,000,000 on that. 50-1 may pay out, but the 1,000,000,000 ain't going to pay out. Folks, if you want to see a nightmare, David Floor on Facebook has screenshots of the latest issue of Dave Johnson's zine, Alarms and Journeys, and he's got pictures from the Kindle version before it was ripped down because he was mocking it, of the lore of Star Frontier's New Genesis. And if you've seen Dave's writing in the past on anything else, and you kind of went, well, I probably wrote better when I was 13, it hasn't improved. It really is bad. But you can read it for free. And I think that is awesome.
Yes.
So you really shouldn't be paying for this one. Oh, but by the way, Star Frontier is not genuine. You can catch that on Drive Through RPG. It's free in PDF, and I think it's at
Oh
cost.
my gosh, I got SAR Frontiers, TSAR.
That's what I meant. Star Frontier is now.
Oh my God, it's so. Here's the deal. It is one of the best parodies of games I've ever read in my entire life. It looks nice. It looks nicer than anything Lados ever come up with. But from everything from there's post-it notes, fake post-it notes all over the place in there, like they were so stupid they turned in the manuscript without post notes, to the fact that most of it's unreadable because it's so dark and the colors are blended. I think that's purpose. I think they did that on purpose. They made it so because that's the way they would do something. They would screw it up that bad.
Oh
because
God,
you can't read a lot of it. It's just got this. It's got form art. It's got fake artwork. It's got terrible layout. It's got horrible I mean, everything. There's deliberate spelling errors in it. It's so freaking hilarious. It is one of the best parodies I've ever seen.
So I am privileged enough to have found out who actually wrote it. Not saying who it is. I am not revealing that knowledge. I'm saying that I've actually.
They did a great job. It was thumbs up. I mean, I got 2 copies. I got one to auction off in the midnight auction this year, and I got one for just me because it's just amazing what a great I mean the work that went into that parody and the fact that that they did a parody that is going to look nicer and is going to make more money than anything the new TSR did, because I guarantee you that they've made some money on this, right? I mean, they're making money on the PODs. I mean,
they're at cost. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, pretty? Oh, really? Oh, wow. It's a good product for at cost. It's a hardback. It's a nice hardback.
Yeah.
It's just the work that they put into it. Like Matt says, it's astounding how much work was put into this parody because it's. I got to get my copy. Hold on. Do you have your copy nearby?
No, I don't. You can step away.
I have mine. Hold on. I'll grab it. It's
John Miller says, sounds like someone needs to write a charity module featuring an ogre king named Lanasa. John, I like that idea. I don't know if I'm skilled enough to do it, but I like the idea. Maybe we'll make a contest of that. We got to see. Love the bad Mike comment about being PO that he didn't think of Tenkar's toilet. Well, listen, I'm surprised. Again, I think it would have been better off as Tenkar's privy, Tenkar's outhouse. I mean, I used to do predictions from Tenkar's privy. I used to do it for New Year's, scrying the waters of the privy to see what's going to happen in the next year. And I was so accurate at times that I was asked by certain individuals and publishers to change what I had because it was spot on. So,
Star Frontiers not genuine. NG.
There you go. See, Mike, if you want, hey, I'll sign one of the post-it notes that refer to Tenkar. I'll sign one of those.
Look how muddy. It's so muddy that you can't read parts of it. I think that's deliberate. I actually think it's deliberate.
Oh, it is. It is.
Just to show you how terrible. I mean, just random tables out of. I mean, it's. I honestly wish it was a little easier to read just so you could play it, because I think this is a playable game. It's just over the top. It's ridiculous.
That's the scary part. It is definitely playable.
It's just, I mean, then the charts are so freaking hilarious. I mean, like I said, there's so many misspelled words in it, and that's absolutely deliberate. I mean, the it's just so it's funny because you can flip to almost any page, and if you just the charts alone are just so freaking hilarious. But this might be playable. I mean, this page, it's got charts on it. You can't read them because they're so murky. And like I said, it's an absolute parody of what I mean. You can barely see stuff, and what you can read is pretty funny, you know. And the post-it notes. Why is the human only ladies?
They
Find a normal person to put into it too.
That's probably a Dave Johnson comment, but yes. From Tom, Lord, do you mean the crap written on the used toilet paper from off the outhouse room floor? You know what? I don't know. I mean, most of what we gotten so far from Star Frontiers is kind of like what would be written on the walls.
See, look, this is 10 Crab Games. I mean, 10 Crab Games.
10 Crab, come on!
I gotta read the backup. The back is too funny. The primordial role-playing game of science fiction is back from. And by the way, there's misspelling and words run together. This is all different fonts and everything. The primordial role-playing game of science fiction is back from the real company that started everything. No, that stared everything. That's right, and it's really real. You could do space battles and play like old school. That means no easy mode or balanced encounters or coffee shops and pronouns. This is for the hardcore hardware players that want to shoot some bad guys and be a hero or a heroine. Girls are welcome too if they want to play. Maybe if they have a brother or dad to teach them. This is a whole new experience. There's technomancy and exciting space politics, and don't forget ? Lots of battles. No X cards or session zeros. Just start playing, and a galaxy of adventure awaits you with thrilling aliens, fair space maidens, evil villains, lasers and monsters and robots. I mean, everything's misspelled. It is classic. Oh my god, so classic.
And do you know why there's the Hardwire reference in there?
Why?
Why? Because that's Justin's tattoo parlor, Hardwire tattoo.
Oh, inside.
Inside jokes, folks. They even get you on the back cover.
So inside.
Yes, Tom.
And here's like how do you shoot into cover? Cover, none. Same as the damage taken by a vehicle. 1/4 sitting on the window of a car. 1/2 the damage taken by a vehicle. 1/2 leaning out the window of a car. 1/4 of the damage taken by the vehicle. It doesn't make any sense. 3/4 or more. 1/10 of the damage if belted otherwise. I mean, it's just so ridiculous. It's just, like I said, it's and then there's all these just hilarious communiques that they basically, it was like the writer and the other person went back and forth with post notes. This book is pretty good, but I need 2 more weeks to finish editing. No time now. We already promised it for the con. Just wrap it up. They'll buy it because of the name. But no one's coming to the con anyway. You just did it because you were banned from Gary Con. The next one is, I wasn't banned anyway. Our con is the largest ever, period. Besides, we got to print this before Wizard sues us and cancels all our trademarks. I need the money. So anyway, yes, I will be auctioning a copy of this off at North Texas Midnight Auction. Satan will have a field day with that, I'm sure. So.
Tammy V, I seriously feel bad for the guy. Nobody puts together a bad product and knows it, or do they? How does he not have an editor? From what I've seen from Dave Johnson's work, I don't even think he uses Grammarly. I think Justin's using Grammarly now, so he can look like he's maybe coming upon a college graduate, no, high school graduate in his postings on Twitter and Discord. But when it comes to the creation of Star Frontiers, well, first off, Dave right now is going to be distracted because he's creating his new Quest game. Because
Quest, called Quest, yes.
Quest. So he's starting his Quest game and is writing that. So I think Star Frontiers is going to take a back burner for a while, but that's okay because I don't really think they want it to come out. They just want it in the process of it will come out. But we're not taking orders for it because if it was going to be out soon, they'd be taking orders for it, but they're not. Not that they're shipping the stuff that they have taken orders for, because my straw buyer still has not gotten my dungeon crawl or the Cults of Abandon, as people have been calling it.
Oh no! Yeah, that thing's such a cluster F too. So yeah, the cults of abandon, which is supposed to be the cult of Abaddon, which is an evil god, and so even the people who wrote it can't stop calling it the cults of abandon, which doesn't make any sense because they don't even know the name of their own product. So yeah, that's bad stuff. Pretty bad stuff.
Oh, Tom makes a point. Their rules are not even out yet, and they're advertising the first adventure. And they did.
Oh my! That's
I saw the copy ad for it. It was painful, but then I realized it was written by Dave, and I expected me. Perhaps we should write a module called Black Alpha to upstage them. Stop tempt me not, Satan. No. Or maybe. I think we can probably get a group together to write that in about 3 days. And write it for not
Is
genuine.
anybody playing this? Is there anybody that cares about this anymore that's playing it? Or are we just speaking into the void here? Or should we just like stop talking about it? Because it doesn't seem like there's anybody that cares. It doesn't. I mean, nobody cares. Nobody knows. Everybody knows this is going to come out anymore. Ever going to come out? I mean, come on.
And if it does
why are we wasting our time? Why are we wasting our time?
Listen, if it does come out, and not to get political, but if it does actually release, it'll be like, wow, abortion should be legalized because, wow.
God, okay. We got
all right. I just had to throw
it
out there. It's just like that.
We suddenly got political, but no, we didn't mean to. No, it's terrible. It's never going to come out. So it's just fun to make fun of it, but it's kind of like just talking about nothingness, really. It's
like, it's like beating Mr. Ed if Mr. Ed was like, I don't know, the horse that couldn't talk. I mean, like, really.
Horse that couldn't talk.
Yeah. I thought Mr. Ed could talk. Well,
not really.
Talk, but he can't even write. Oh, so you were telling me it's Dave Johnson? No, I didn't say that. Tenny, Dave.
No.
Grammarly. Use spell check basics. Ask a third grader. He can't. And I'm not
it's become a point of pride at this point that they don't try to spell anything right.
Yes.
They don't need any outside help, man. We don't need any outside help. Come on.
Yeah, Tom is you got a CD from Hasbro to stop with the Hero Quest. So he went with Quest. He could have just gone with Hero, right? I'm gonna make a game called Hero. But it's certainly
it all works, man. It all works.
Where you go on quests, but it's not Hero Quest.
Who's even buying that? Who wants to buy any Dave's crappy stuff? I mean, why would he? Who's buying?
Dave can make better adventures for Hero Quest than the company itself, Hasbro. Okay. Their budget is millions, if not billions.
Is there even any point right now to have This Week in Stupid anymore? Because it's just the same winner over and over and over. It's just. There's not any. Is there a point to it? Because WotC seems to have cleaned up its act. WotC has learned from their mistakes, and they've moved on to bigger and better things. All the stupid's just in one corner right now. It's just
So, John Miller. Some people are saying one should not speak of Lanasa Candyman, lest one play into his game, playing the face to his heel. But the thing is, he's got no influence. It's one thing to say, all right, this person has influence and he needs more attention.
So this is my argument about this. I'm sorry, I didn't really.
Go ahead. No, Mike, your argument.
I saw some people saying this online. This is my argument about this. So some people think that any publicity is good publicity. Jerry Jones, the Cowboys, is very famously says, "I don't care if you hate the Cowboys. I don't care if you love the Cowboys, as long as you talk about the Cowboys." I mean, that's his big thing. Right. And there's some truth to that. Hey, as long as you're talking about as long you don't have to like the Patriots or hate them, but if you're talking about them, that's all we care about. You can hate them or love them, whatever. And the worst thing the Patriots ever did was get rid of Tom Brady because now nobody cares about him anymore, right? They just don't give a shit because they're just there now. And so there's some truth to that argument. However, the people who benefit by that are people that have a product to sell or a message to get out. Right. And so they don't care if you hate them or don't like them, as long as you're talking about them, that message is being talked about. And when this came into vogue was when Trump ran for president, and the media had a 24/7 news cycle about it because anything he did, they wanted to make fun of him or say he's stupid or whatever. Well, all they ended up doing was giving the guy a 24/7 news cycle. People that had no idea who Trump was were like, hey, there's another story about Trump. Every day there's a story about Trump. Which proves to me the media is really very stupid because they just kept giving the guy more and more publicity. This is what the Kardashians live on, right? The Kardashians don't care. They don't care if you think they're crazy or weird or nuts. You're just talking about them. All they care about is they get a story every day that they're talked about. Oh, look, Kim showed her butt, or Khloe, divorced her husband. They don't care what it's about as long as you're talking about them. But they have a product to sell. Trump had a product to sell. The Kardashians have a product to sell. LaNasa has no product to sell. You can talk about them all day long. It doesn't help them. There's nothing. Right. You can't go buy something and say, I'm going to help out LaNasa because these guys are talking about them. What are you going to do? There's nothing to buy. They don't have a product. They're not offering anything.
Right. You can't even buy Dungeon Crawl because it's sold out again.
Oh,
so
no.
It was a small print run, but he hasn't shipped the one that was supposed to be shipped.
Uh-oh.
So let's talk about that at another point. But here's the thing too. I've had people reach out to me online and go to me, I thank God, or I'm so thankful that I saw you and Mike talking about TSR3, TSR, new TSR, because I was hearing one thing and you presented screenshots. You presented receipts.
Right.
And I saw the receipts and I was like, oh my God. So listen, you can say what you want about anything. Mike and I, when we dig deep into this stuff, we come up and we give you receipts. So when you see screenshots of what Dave Johnson said, which I've done, or what LaNasa has said, which I've done, or Rancid Lord, Michael, not you, Michael, another Michael. Michael, yeah. You guys, we give you receipts, so you don't have to go, oh, it's just Tenkar talking out of his ass. Holy fuck, these guys actually said this shit. They actually put that up on Discord? Wait, this jackass put that up on Facebook? Why would he do that? And listen, I have knowledge. Mike has knowledge of stuff that we don't bring up because we know it happens.
Plenty of stuff, yeah.
But we don't have receipts, or we have receipts that we can't share.
We just hear from a person who's told a person, but we trust the person,
right?
But we can't at least talk about it.
But we give out receipts. So when people go, "Wow, I didn't really understand how big a fuck up this TSR company was until I saw your videos, until I saw Tabletop Tap Room and saw Tom, because Tom gives receipts, or I saw David Floor on Facebook because David Floor gives receipts." You might not like us. I understand that. Okay, you don't have to like us. You might.
Here's
go ahead, Mike.
Here's the funniest thing is that we're not. This is so outside of like politics or anything, because I think it's funny when people report on Talking Crit or Eric Singh said, it's weird, man. Tenkar is like an ex-cop and he's kind of conservative, but yet he's speaking out against LaNasa. I don't get that. Because he's a fucking moron. It doesn't. Politics don't enter into it. I mean, some of the guys that we are aligned with in terms of just taking the piss out of LaNasa We're not the same as them. No. We have. I don't think Mr. Floor and I have the same kind of politics. I've read his stuff. I mean, but this is something that you just can't argue with. There's no arguing about it. We got some feedback when we had Ty Beard on, like, that's weird because Ty Beard's a really conservative lawyer, and yet he was saying that LaNasa's an idiot and can be sued, but he's not.
He's not calling it based upon politics. It's what it is. Listen, I've mentioned this before. I'll say it again. I spent my last years as a supervisor in internal affairs, and there was nothing I hated more than to see members of my police community, cops, prey on other cops. It was bad enough they preyed on civilians, and that was shit too, but you're preying on your own, and that was holy shit. So if I don't care what your political background is. Really doesn't make a flying fucking difference, because you've got people like Ken Whitman, right? And Gail Gygax. You've got people that listen. Tenkar has covered personalities in this community where people are like,
Wait a second. I think Gail just got her swing set or something. I can't remember.
no. I thought Gail just donated her stained glass to, not the Dungeon
Oh, her
Habitat
stained
Museum,
glass to
the
the
actual
dungeon. No, not to
the Geneva Lake Museum, which is a
the
legitimate
Lake
museum.
Museum.
I
Yeah.
give Gail credit for doing that, but I don't look at stuff in a political view in gaming. I look at stuff as what is the truth, what is the deception, um, who is trying to abuse the gaming community, who's trying to take advantage of people who don't know any better.
Oh, yeah.
And the marketing of TSR is we're marketing for the people who don't know any better, the ones that either knowingly or unknowingly have their heads in the sand and don't know what's going on. And I will gladly bring the receipts and expose what's going on, which is another reason why, again, that lawyer letter means discovery. And when I bring up discovery, um, it's gonna be nasty. Not gonna be nasty for me.
Mhm.
But I don't think it's gonna happen because right now, I do know that depositions have been served in the Wizards of the Coast TSR legal battle, and I'm waiting for that stuff to start landing because
Okay.
it's going to be entertaining. I'm going to make popcorn.
Well, and I'm sure our ratings will go up because probably have a whole series of shows about it. Because the people who are not sick of us talking about it, because it'll be well worth talking about and laughing about. If it even, I just keep thinking it's not going to get to that. You know what I'm saying? At some point, you just keep thinking this guy's going to realize best thing to just to drift, just to slide away and kind of go hide somewhere in the corner.
Oh, yeah, whatever they left. By the way, Matt, you can only be so conservative if you're willing to wear a Village People yoga leotard while dyeing your hair blue.
Yeah, that's not even conservative. That's not conservative. That's weird. That's just weird politics.
No, that's you do stuff for a higher cause, and politics has nothing to do with any of that stuff. Listen,
It's like Hitler's
if you sat me down and you heard my views on, I don't know, welfare and other social issues, you would be like, huh? Because I worked in neighborhoods where I've seen the failure of the government system because the government system doesn't empower people. So I have different views on this stuff than the vast majority of people that are spoon fed. But I don't put myself into one category or another. I know people put me in it. I don't put myself.
The truth is, very few people can fit into little category. It's amazing that very few people fit into what you would call traditional definition categories, and that's one of the problems that people are. This is me on my soapbox now, trying to get political. That's one thing that regular people are going to have to realize at a certain point is that government's whole point is to pit you against one another, so you're not paying attention to them stealing your money right and left, up these guys up here. It's class warfare. It's not racial. It's not conservative versus liberal. It's about class. It's about people that have money and wanting to have more money and not wanting you to have money. And so,
right.
The best thing they can do is pitch you against each other and come up with these wedge issues. And have you ever wondered why it's so weird that, like, all of a sudden, as soon as a wedge issue people are talking about, then all of a sudden another one pops up. So there's always something to keep you busy. Like, oh my gosh, it's pro or anti-abortion now. Last week it was. I mean, it's been like 5 things already this year, right? We've already had 5 things to fight about or argue about,
Well,
because
the pandemic comes back.
Every pandemic. And everything just keeps going on and on and on, but it's to get you outraged and get you upset, and it's to play you like a fiddle. And so people have to realize that we have more in common than we have apart. I'm sorry, we do, because I've been to gaming conventions. I sit down with people. I don't know what their religious affiliation is.
Right.
I don't know if my DM is the guy running the games a Jewish guy, a Muslim, a Buddhist, an atheist. I don't care. I don't care. I really don't. I don't have no idea if they're a vegetarian. Are they a vegan?
They're a pescatarian.
Are they Tom Tellis and they only eat raw steak and raw meat? I don't know. And these are all these things that don't matter, and they shouldn't matter to anybody anyway about anything. And if you, it's only with social media, that now we feel like we have to know everything about somebody to the point of where, hey, you need to put your pronouns up there. Well, why? If you call me the wrong pronoun, I'll just tell you, look, hey, I'm a they them, not a he, her, him, or her.
Okay.
What's if I'm a man and I'm he, him, why do I need to put my pronoun up? Because I'm, I only need to put my pronoun up if I have issues, and that way I'll put up they them. I don't understand why if you identify with your given sex, you have to put up pronoun. But anyway, I'm just saying is that these are all wedge issues. They're all trying to drive you apart from people. And if you're playing a game, you don't care. You don't care who's running the game. You don't care who's sitting at your table. You don't care who they voted for. Just play a game. Just get together and play a game together and have fun.
Gaming is our commonality, all right? And that's why it really irk is not the right word. It really pisses me off. It really grinds my gears when I see people taking advantage or trying to take advantage or trying to fleece members of the gaming community. This is the community that I am part of. I feel protective of it. I felt protective of the community when I was a cop. I felt protective of civilians and cops when I was in internal affairs because I didn't want the dirty apples, the rotten apples, the pieces of shit, their infection to ride out and become worse. Because honestly, the history of like the NYPD, you find out that if you have little corruption in one command, that command becomes much more corrupt if it isn't addressed and removed. You don't need shit in your community.
And then, I mean, there's so many. So, I mean, I think it's funny. I think it's funny that people who get all crazy about Eric and then, he used to be a cop and stuff. He was in Eternal Affairs.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like he's back to blue 100% no matter what. I mean,
I was just like by cops and civilians.
Yeah, I mean, he ran into cops probably all the time that were, skimming or cheating on their wife. I mean, whatever. They weren't, they weren't exemplars of their profession because of what he did. I think it's funny when you try to put people in boxes like that. Say, well, you're this, so you have to be like that, and that's absolutely not true. And that's why it's so funny when I think it's funny when Eric gets taken to task for like, well, I don't understand why you don't like Lanasa because he's just like you. No, he's not. He's not really like anybody. And that's also the issue with grifters. Grifters are, look at Kim Whitman. Grifters are very good at presenting issues that not really important issues, but they will divide you because they want your loyalty. And Kim Whitman was really good at that too. If you remember, now Kim Whitman doesn't really ever post at all anymore. We don't really see stuff. But when he was posting,
nope, don't say that.
Oh no, is he back? Oh dear. But I mean, Kim was very good about well, these people don't like me because of this. It's not because I'm not putting out product or I'm not putting out the movies for Nights at the Dinner Table. They don't like me because, and he'd always invent these issues, and this is why nobody likes me.
Whitman, new business card arrived.
Oh, okay. This is so great.
Whitman, producer, writer,
He's back, baby. He's back, baby.
He's in Kentucky. I'm just saying. He put this up on Facebook.
Well, his one defender was always Marcus, who just passed away. Maybe he took over Marcus's business. I mean, did he slide in there and grab all Marcus's comics? I mean, who knows?
No. Well, here, Little Monster Entertainment LLC. It used to be Little Monster Comics when he was doing his comic deal. So that got
He's back, baby. He's back.
So you know what? It's kind of like, listen, as a cancer survivor, individuals like Ken Whitman are, to some extent, like a cancer on a community, because you think you got rid of them, but you got to monitor because that stuff can always come back. And Ken is obviously making an attempt at this point to come back. So
he's been out a while. I mean, well, he can't make it the gaming community ever. I mean, he could come back somewhat.
He was trying to clean up his Kickstarters by mailing out pencil dice, but not based upon the order in which you made your order. You would think that if I was the first person to make an order, mine would get first. No. It was based upon the size of your order. So if you ordered one pencil, you got
your pencil. One pencil. Hey, here's your pencil.
If you ordered like 2 dozen pencils, you're probably still like, because Ken is like going, well, I'd have to make 24 pencils and only clears out one obligation.
I can clear 24 orders out instead of the one guy that ordered 24
Yes.
pencils.
So,
See, now that's a grifter. Grifters are not stupid. Now they're greedy and they're selfish, but they're not stupid. Grifters are very cunning, and Lanas is the same. Fits in this bill. Very cunning person. This is all.
yes.
He doesn't. I mean, he's dumb in some way, but he doesn't do stuff without a plan. This is all planned, right? And the same way with Ken Whitman.
It might be a bad plan, but it
could be a terrible plan. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's certainly a plan that he thinks is an excellent plan. Now, Dave Johnson goes into things without a plan. My personal opinion on watching the tip.
He doesn't seem like he's. Yeah,
Dave seems like. Oh God! So you know, the classic.
Watch out! He's going to sue. He's going to sue you now. Watch out! He's going to sue you here.
I'm going to say, think of the classic Superman movies, right? Back to Christopher Reeve movies. Remember Mr. Luthor, Lex Luthor?
Oh yeah, his little sidekick played by what's his name?
Right. So I'm going to give credit here, right? Lanasa is kind of like Lex Luthor, believes he's the most intelligent person in the room. But Mr. Luthor, was it Ned Beatty?
Ned Beatty, yes.
Yeah.
Ned Beatty was the guy.
That's
Otis. That's right.
Otis. Oh, you know what? From now on,
Mr.
Luthor. I'm gonna. You know what, Dave? Your new name is Otis. There we go. We've decided.
And he would run around being all goofball and not really know what he's doing.
Yeah. But that's what people like Lex Luthor use people like Otis. They, you need that to be manipulated, right? And it's easily manipulated, and it goes.
And back then, I mean, if like I said, it's been a few years, but the Whitman saga, he used tons of people. Remember his girlfriend, the tattoo girl? I can't remember.
Oh God, he used. He also used a woman in the Atlanta film industry. A black woman. I think he even had her cleaning her clothes.
And she was online. She used to take up for him.
Yeah.
And he had a few people that just took up for him. Like, oh no, Marcus was another one that just was, oh yeah, this guy, he's a great guy, man. And so they find these guys that are these yes men or these yes people that take up for him, and then they just they end up dumping them. They just
they're only useful. They're only useful for as long as they're useful. All right, and, that is the personality. And now, Marcus, God rest his soul, always said that Ken saved his life. Oh, we might be losing Mike. But Marcus always said Ken saved. Yeah, we lost Mike. Ken saved his life, and that's why Ken could do no wrong. He's going to back Ken 100% on everything. You know what? I don't have to agree wholeheartedly with that to understand it. Well, and Mike returns.
That was so explosive that I think that the government tried to censor us. The article has gotten so explosive.
Oh, wait. Ken Whitman actually secretly works for the NSA.
Oh, dear.
We can't talk about it. He does training films when he's not doing other films, which we shan't. We're not going to expose.
DJ will be tossed aside whenever it's convenient for Ken.
Yeah.
Or not Ken, Justin. So.
When the Star Frontiers game is when they're ready to say it's not going to happen. See, right now, everybody's looking at Dave, right? All the attention's on Dave, and none of it's on Justin, and that I would assume is the plan, not Dave's plan. Dave just likes to get attention, but it's like, well, when the shit hits the fan and nothing ever comes from this project, whose fault is it? It's Dave's, right? Not Justin. Justin, no, he secured.
By the way, more of the stuff we can't tell you about. We've seen inside info that's exactly what's going to happen. That there is no plan to ever come up with Star Frontiers, and that DJ is going to be the fall guy when it does, because that's just the way it's going to be. Oh, I gave David all this stuff, and it's all his fault. He never cared with anything, and he just might be just too dumb to know that that's what's going to happen. Chad Revenge.
Do we need to pull it up?
We might need a live reading here.
All right, hold on. Give me a second.
Oh, Chad Revenge is our buddy. Yeah,
Chad. Oh my God, yes, he is.
You think he was
up.
watching the show tonight? You think
I
he
don't know.
maybe was watching the show?
I All right, hold on. All right, now, folks, I haven't read, but it's starting at 18 minutes ago. So here we're gonna do. It's gonna piss somebody off because we're gonna be doing a live read of this. He's telling more lies. I tell you.
Oh boy, yeah, Chad is just.
Yes.
You know what? I don't know. He just popped on since our show popped on. I think there's something to. I think he was. His first post was 25 minutes ago. I think he was getting himself a little talking crit, and then he just decided, you know what?
It's like
I'm gonna,
maybe a little whiskey, maybe a little wine.
Yeah,
you know, all right, I'm lubricated.
He had a couple drinky poos, and he was watching our show, and he said, "Let's just do this."
So don't worry at Jedian357. Thank you, Tom. I got this one. Your video and your excellent ranking video will go to the Witches of the Coast lawyers. I think they will appreciate your reporting on this one. Dave Johnson doing flat out IP theft. I think they will deal with this. I watched Tom's video. It was very, very well done. Johnson Publishing, sham operation, no editing, does not know how to lay a magazine out, stealing outright IPs of others. Wizards of the Coast are going to have a field day with you. Listen, that's sad because they have multi-million-dollar revenue and 47 employees or something like that, right? That's what Dave claimed on one of his social media sites. When you are a racist, sexist prick, you attract racist, sexist pricks. Now we know why Johnson and Oz are in bed with each other. That's not an image that I actually like, but okay. Sometimes a name is eloquent. Johnson, a name that fits for sure. Dave, you are a true Johnson. That's a good one.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
That's pretty good. I will give credit. By the way, Chad, if you are listening, I'm going to blow up your spot a little bit. You've sent me nothing. So,
come on, man. You're supposed to give us some more info.
Yeah. So, Dave Johnson, when I get threatened with legal action, don't worry. I am involved. I love sending emails, screenshots, video links. Not to me, you know. In any case, Wizards of the Coast has answered several so far, saying that they are reviewing my info. Have fun, grifter. All right, well, maybe they're in the right place. The gaming grifter and his sidekick Dave are gonna sue you, Johnson. Otis, man, you got to call him Otis now. Maybe some company can make a grifter class.
Well, he outs Rancid Lord and goes into Rancid Lord. Man, he hammers him.
Oh, I haven't gotten that far yet.
Oh, come on.
Hey, everyone, in case you don't know, Rancid Lord is really a guy named Michael. I'm not going to say his last name. According to a source of mine. Hi, Mikey.
And not me.
Different Mike. Mike, not bad Mike. Why do you hide behind Rancid Lord in the TSR Discord? Come on, be proud of who you are.
It should be.
Oops, I mean, Michael, yeah. Sorry, I think all grifters and whiners in training need to be properly spelled. Well, really what it is with Rancid Lord, he wants to become a member of TSR and be important, and this is how he's trying to do it. Seems Michael, a.k.a. Rancid Lord, is a member of the Universal Life Church. He posts masters in fine arts. Oh my God, how pathetic is that?
That might be what my master's is in. I don't know. Mine's in literature. No.
Yeah, well, I do know some
fine arts
religious organizations give these weird masters out that aren't really masters. Rancid Lord, a.k.a. Corvus. Shall I go on? Okay, that's a new one for me. So, for folks that don't know who Chad Revenge is, we don't know who Chad Revenge is. But Chad is an individual that
has a few. He's got some fish to fry with our buddies, and so he. Yeah. Oh, by the way, you want to hear some breaking news?
Yes.
I just talked to one Jason Hobbs, and he said he's in for next week.
Woo-hoo!
Hobbs and friends, Jason Hobbs. He contacted me. Goes, hey, buddy, I lost track of the time. What time do you start? And I'm like, kind of already about finished. But
we're about to wrap up, but we can take you next week.
But he said he's in for next week. So yes, Mr. Jason Hobbs, special guest, North Texas. main dude behind Hobbs and Friends, which took the world by storm and still is pretty cool little interview program.
Yeah.
Yes, we should. Looks like we will pencil him in for next week, and hopefully we can get him in here.
So now
we've never had Jason on the show.
Never had Jason.
Awesome.
Now little inside baseball on Jason. Whereas Vince Florio is the one that literally brought me to the podcasting table and got me involved in podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Hobbs was my inspiration to do a solo cast originally on Anchor and then move it to YouTube. To listen to Jason do these casts, and listen, he's doing it when he's driving on his work truck. You hear the turn signal going, but you know what? That authenticity is what told me how I can be authentic and how I can do this. It isn't about the high quality editing. No, it's about the topic. It's about what you're talking about.
He paved the way for a lot of people, and he was very influential in what he's done. And I honestly, I feel bad I haven't listened to his show in quite a while. It's been many months. So,
well, you and me both. I love my retirement, and don't get me wrong, folks, I really do. But the one thing that I miss from working is not the actual commute, but it was listening to my podcasts from people like Hobbs and others during that commute, which I don't do. You know, when you have.
Well, I'm looking at his site. I was going to say he hasn't done a podcast since February, so we haven't. So okay, there's not a lot to catch up.
I can catch up.
We can catch up. He did one in February. The one before that's in November. The one before that's he's way behind on this stuff. So that's good.
All right, let's see if there's anything.
Anything? Chad Revenge. Give us anything new here.
Lanasa is head grifter. Ransom Lord is his Discord PR guy in training, and Johnson is his new head of IP infringement. Otis. What a class operation.
So, if you do Twitter, or even if you don't do Twitter, because I don't do Twitter, I can still see it.
Yeah.
Check out Chad Revenge on Twitter. Go all the way back. Go way back.
It's
some early stuff. Oh, it's great. This guy has inside info. He has inside info. He definitely knows some things.
I mean, and I kind of forget that he has inside info because a lot of times when he talks about the stuff that I know, but don't talk about publicly because I have inside info. But it's like, but then another source now confirmed what I've heard from a separate source. And once Chad brings it up, now it's public, so it changes things.
He has been very close to whatever's going on here because he knows some things that. And by the way, stuff is when he throws it out there, it's not even disputed. They don't say no. That's bullshit. They don't. Nobody says anything. They just try to ignore it because it's mostly the truth. But he's gone after a lot of people. Well, he went after Ernie for a while. I think, a while back. Yeah. So he was doing Ernie
with Ransom Lord on the Discord admin who created the Tenkar's toilet Discord channel. He was like, because Tenkar talks about the bad things TSR does, or doesn't say I lie about TSR. No, I point out the bad stuff, and that's
how dare you, sir?
How dare I? Again, I don't point out stuff that isn't true. I point out their own words because there's nothing worse or better than using somebody's own word. I don't make shit up. I bring receipts. So, well, thank you, Chad, for. By the way, when I finish this up, the first thing that Rachel's going to ask me before we get ready for bed is, did you check to see if Chad Revenge put anything up? So now people tell her yes.
There you go. We did see some Chad.
We saw some Chad.
Chad says hi, so he's watching. He said hi?
He said hi to Tom.
Oh.
Sorry. Yes. He said hi. I don't want to know how they know. Maybe they're Twitter friends. I don't know.
Not important. Just keep the info rolling. That's what
I don't.
Yeah, he said hi, Eric and company. Okay, so he's probably watching us right now. Oh my God!
Do I have to refresh this?
Yes, refresh it. He says hi to us.
Refresh it. You notice? Oh wait. Hi, Eric and
All right.
company.
All right, we have to see who.
All right, Chad.
Oh my gosh, Chad's really Gary Oliver. Oh my God, I knew
Oh
it.
my God,
I knew it.
those are the
suspected.
secrets about Gary I didn't know. Holy shit! You notice Lanasik's other do all the dirty work. That way, Johnson.
I can rule Gary out. I'm going to rule Gary out. But yes.
Yeah, probably not Gary.
Well, hello back to you, Chad. We're big fans. That's all I can say. We're big fans.
Except Rancid Lord. He is just a dick who thinks the TSR Discord is his own. Stop asking questions about Dave Johnson and Star Frontiers, or I'm going to just shut this whole thing down. I'm going to take my ball and go home.
Who is on their Discord? Because they kick everybody out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Everybody out that asks the question, so I don't get who's on their Discord.
What I love is when people are asking questions. Again, I don't see this directly because I am obviously blocked. But I love people on like Facebook going, was there an announcement by Dave Johnson? Because he's got me blocked, even though it's the Star Frontiers New Genesis group, and I'm looking to get information as to what's going on with this game. So yeah, well, I don't understand what they block people for asking questions. People are asking questions. They're actually potential customers, right? If I'm not going to buy your shit, I don't have questions for you. If I'm thinking about buying your shit, I may have questions. I worked in electronics back in the late 80s and early 90s for a major department store in New York City. If somebody came in and just said, I'm just looking, I wasn't making a sale. If somebody goes, yeah, can I ask you a question about this TV, or this is what I'm looking for? They're asking questions. They're invested. You have a good chance of making a sale, making a little extra money. No. You're asking too many questions. Fuck you. Go away. Block. I don't get it.
All right. Well, we've had a full evening here.
I think so.
We could probably shut it down. We blathered about nothing all night, so that's about par for the course. Good deal. Good deal. But
there's an update, but I'm not going to read it because
next week we'll hopefully have more. Check out Chad. So check out Chad Revenge on Twitter. Check out North Texas RPG Con online for more information, new games up, etc. Next week we're going to have. Looks like we're going to have Jason Hobbs on, which is awesome. We somebody new to talk to that we can ask all kinds of cool questions. And what else do we need to check out? Let's see.
We're going to have a live stream on Friday at 8 p.m. We will have the random generated party. So
I love that. That's one of my favorites. I love random generated party.
You never know who's going to pop in.
I popped in once.
Yeah.
So you just never know. Sometimes
I think it's going to be.
I had to argue with Joe the lawyer. I had to argue with Rob Conley because
we all argue with Rob Conley. Don't get the problem with arguing with Rob Conley is that he is right far more often than he is wrong. So
I didn't think he was wrong. I just had a differerent perspective.
I'm just saying, in general, Rob is a hard person to argue with.
He is. He's smart, dude. Yes, definitely tune in for that. I love the randomly generated party. It's great.
And then 8 p.m. Saturday, Gamers Health. Myself and Rach, we got a lot of stuff to talk about this week. A lot of updates. It should be interesting, and hopefully, I don't say educational, but hopefully inspiring. So we'll go with that. Other than that, yes, North Texas. I'll be there again. As it stands right now, I am not on the sheet running anything, but I will be prepared to run things off the sheet because that's when I have the fun. Oh, and look who comes in late.
What?
Right? We're gonna have to pull her membership card.
Kim, what the hell? Please tell me you've been here all along. You're not just popping in to say hi 1 minute before we're going to go off.
Take her card away.
That's painful. It's painful. And you notice we didn't see Ty Beard all night too, so he's on my S list right now. So. Yeah, some of the regulars are not showing up. It's starting to bother me.
But wait, we did have Kurt was on. Kurt Gould. So
yeah, Kurt popped back in. He must have been bored.
What can I say? All right,
Watsy put him to bed early or something.
Folks, as always, we are in the midst of the world of COVID. Mike, myself, we're not your parents. Neither one of us is your father. We're not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to hold your as a Catholic brother once told me, I'm not going to hold your fucking hand. I'm not going to wipe your ass. I'm not going to tell you. Don't ask, Mike. And it wasn't that. But do yourself, all right? You know the situation you're in. You know where you are, where you live. Just use your common sense. Other than that, be safe, be well. God bless. Kim was in the meeting. Poor excuse.
Yep.
And
Sorry.
I'll be
It's not
back
past muster.
tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow, if you're on the Discord server, doesn't like do blanket bans. If you're on the Discord server, 9 p.m. Thursday nights, pretty much 50
Oh, that's
weeks
fun
a
too.
year.
I've hit the last few Discords, and you can
Yeah.
laugh at me as I am unable to get my microphone to work half the time. So you
But
can.
yeah, but we have a good time on the Discord hangout. People from around the world just chilling,
Yes, it's great.
just hanging out. It's a geek nerd hangout. It's very relaxed. There is no expectations other than don't be a dick.
Mhm.
If you can handle that, join us. All right, folks. On that note, we're out of here.